Would you stay silent? Or let revenge speak for you? Welcome to the stories on Shattered Vengeance. Step into a world where love turns dangerous, revenge feels inevitable, and every story drags you deeper into the shadows of desire, betrayal, and the human heart. Let's begin today's story. The mahogany conference table at Uncle Richard's law office gleamed under fluorescent lights as 15 family members filed in for what he'd called an emergency family council meeting. I slipped into the back corner, laptop bag slung over my shoulder, still wearing scrubs from my overnight shift as a trauma nurse. "Thank you all for coming," Uncle Richard announced, adjusting his reading glasses with theatrical importance. As the family's only attorney, though his practice mainly handled traffic tickets, he'd appointed himself patriarch after Grandma's death last year. "We're here to address a critical family financial situation." My cousins Jessica and Michael exchanged knowing glances from the front row. Jessica had been unemployed for 6 months after getting fired from her marketing job, while Michael's construction business had folded when his gambling debts caught up. Both had been living with various relatives, creating family tension. "The burden on this family has become unsustainable," Uncle Richard continued, pulling out a thick folder. "Housing costs, supporting unemployed members, maintaining properties we can't afford. It's time for decisive action." Aunt Patricia nodded vigorously. "Some people need to learn responsibility. We can't keep enabling this dependency." I shifted uncomfortably, wondering why I'd been summoned to this tribunal. My schedule at Metropolitan General Hospital kept me busy with 12-hour trauma unit shifts, and I'd assumed this was another boring discussion about splitting Grandma's china. Uncle Richard cleared his throat dramatically. "After careful deliberation and formal family vote, we've reached unanimous decision about the old family property on Maple Street." My blood ran cold. The old family property was my house, the Victorian cottage I'd purchased 3 years ago at 26. I'd fallen in love with the architecture, not realizing it was 2 blocks from where Grandma had lived decades earlier. The family had started calling it the family house despite my clear ownership. "Jessica and Michael need stable housing," Uncle Richard declared. "The family council has voted to sell the Maple Street property and use proceeds to purchase a duplex. Jessica takes one side, Michael the other. This solves our housing crisis efficiently." Jessica clapped her hands. "Finally. I've already found furniture on Facebook Marketplace." Michael pumped his fist. "No more couch surfing. Perfect." "The family council voted to sell your house," Uncle Richard announced smugly, his eyes finding mine. The family erupted in cheers. Aunt Patricia hugged Jessica. Uncle David slapped Michael's back. Cousins talked excitedly about helping with moves and having gatherings at the new duplex. I sat frozen, watching relatives celebrate selling my property like planning a surprise party. Uncle Richard had prepared official-looking documents with his law practice letterhead. He'd researched duplex listings and calculated financial benefits of their family council decision. "We know this seems sudden, Emma," he said with patronizing kindness, "but family decisions require sacrifice. You're young and single. You can find an apartment easily. Jessica and Michael have more complex needs." Without looking away from Uncle Richard's smug expression, I scrolled to my attorney's contact and pressed call. "Emma Martinez speaking," I said quietly. "I need property ownership verification documents immediately." "Yes, urgent family matter." I ended the call and looked up at 15 expectant faces. "That's very interesting," I said calmly. "I'm sure this will work out exactly as it should." Over the next 10 days the family treated the house sale like a done deal. Jessica and Michael spent hours browsing duplex listings, sharing favorites in the family group chat with commentary about which properties had best layouts. "Look at this one," Jessica texted with duplex photos. 2 bedrooms each side, big yards for future kids. Emma's little cottage could never provide this family value. Uncle Richard had gone full real estate mode, contacting agents and scheduling property assessments. He'd printed business cards identifying himself as family estate manager, and started taking realtor calls during family dinners. "The market's hot right now," he announced during Sunday dinner. "We could get 30,000 over asking if we stage properly. Emma, you'll need to remove personal belongings so we can show the house." Michael nodded enthusiastically. "Buyers need to envision their own stuff. Your nursing books and medical equipment make it look too clinical. The most infuriating part was their assumption that I was grateful. Cousin Sarah kept praising the family council's wisdom and telling me how lucky I was to be freed from homeownership responsibilities at my age. Think of all the money you'll save on taxes and maintenance, she gushed. You can travel, live spontaneously. Home ownership is such a burden for someone in their 20s. At work, my colleagues noticed my distraction. Dr. Amanda Foster, the trauma unit's chief physician, pulled me aside after I'd mechanically worked through 3 emergency surgeries without usual focused intensity. Emma, you've been off since last week. Everything okay? Dr. Foster had mentored me through nursing school and watched me develop into one of the trauma unit's most skilled nurses. She knew about my family's tendency to undervalue healthcare work, making comments about how I was just a nurse while Jessica's brief marketing career was somehow more prestigious. Family issues, I admitted. They're trying to sell my house. Sell your house. The Victorian you bought in Riverside. They held a family council meeting. Decided my cousins need it more. Dr. Foster's expression darkened. Emma, you work 60-hour weeks saving lives. You have specialized trauma certifications that took years to earn. You make more than most people twice your age. Why are you letting them treat you like this? That evening, I called my attorney, Patricia Williams, who'd handled my house purchase and become familiar with my family's boundary issues when they'd tried claiming squatters' rights in my guest bedroom. They did what? Patricia's voice rose when I explained the family council decision. Held a formal meeting. Voted. Uncle Richard has listing agreements ready. Emma, this is fraud. They're attempting to sell property they don't own, meeting with real estate agents under false pretenses. We need to shut this down immediately. Patricia began gathering documentation while I dealt with increasingly aggressive family pressure. Uncle Richard called daily with updates on showing appointments. Jessica had started measuring for furniture. Michael was researching moving companies. The realtor wants a walkthrough Tuesday, Uncle Richard informed me. Make sure you're not there. Sellers shouldn't be present during showings. But Dr. Foster had offered to attend any family meetings as a character witness. Sometimes people need external authority before they believe what's in front of them, she'd said. Tuesday morning, Patricia called. I've prepared comprehensive ownership verification. Property records, mortgage documentation, title insurance, everything. The Real Estate Commission has been notified about potential fraud. The showing was another family council meeting in my living room without permission. I arrived home from my hospital shift to find 15 relatives crowded in my house, along with 2 real estate agents and Uncle Richard holding official-looking listing paperwork. Perfect timing. Jessica called cheerfully. We were finalizing everything. Meet Janet and Tom, they'll help us get top dollar. The agents looked professional, measuring rooms and taking notes about the Victorians' hardwood floors and period fixtures. Janet discussed staging strategies while Tom calculated square footage for marketing. Beautiful property, Janet told Uncle Richard. These historical details will attract premium buyers. We should list $50,000 above market value. Uncle Richard beamed. The family has maintained this well. We're motivated sellers. I stood in my doorway in trauma unit scrubs, watching strangers appraise my home while family discussed sale proceeds. Then Dr. Foster appeared behind me, carrying a thick envelope and wearing her chief of surgery authority. Excuse me, Dr. Foster announced, her voice cutting through cheerful chatter with surgical precision. There's been a fundamental misunderstanding about property ownership. The room fell silent. Uncle Richard frowned at the unexpected interruption while the agents looked confused. I'm Dr. Amanda Foster, Chief of Trauma Surgery at Metropolitan General Hospital, she said, stepping into my living room with corporate confidence. I work closely with Ms. Martinez in high-stress medical situations where accuracy and legal precision are life and death matters. She asked me to review these documents because something seemed legally questionable. Dr. Foster placed the envelope on my coffee table. This is official property ownership verification from the county recorder's office, along with mortgage records, title insurance, and legal deed information. Uncle Richard shifted uncomfortably. Look, doctor, this is a family financial decision. Property law isn't a family decision, Dr. Foster interrupted smoothly. It's a legal matter. According to these documents, Emma Martinez has been sole legal owner of this property for 3 years. Janet, the agent, looked alarmed. I need to see those documents immediately. Dr. Foster opened the verification package. This deed, filed with the county recorder and bearing official seals, shows Emma Martinez as sole proprietor. Any attempted sale without her explicit written consent constitutes real estate fraud, a felony. The room erupted. Jessica demanded why I hadn't explained properly. Michael accused me of lying to family. Uncle Richard sputtered about family council authority. Furthermore, Dr. Foster continued, Ms. Martinez's annual income as a specialized trauma nurse exceeds most family members' combined earnings, making claims of financial need questionable. The agents were already packing. Tom looked horrified. We cannot represent a sale without clear title. This could cost us our licenses. Janet handed Uncle Richard her card back. Contact us only when you have legal ownership documentation. This constitutes fraud. Dr. Foster wasn't finished. Ms. Martinez saves lives daily. Her specialized skills command premium compensation that allowed her to purchase this property outright at 26. The county recorder's letter made everything clear. I was sole owner, any interference constituted criminal behavior, and the real estate commission had been notified. The family meeting dissolved into mortified chaos as relatives fled my house, humiliated by their participation in attempted property theft. Uncle Richard's fraud investigation resulted in a state bar association complaint, threatening his small law practice. His family estate manager business cards became evidence of professional misconduct. Jessica and Michael's housing dreams crumbled without duplex proceeds they'd counted on. Jessica remained unemployed and homeless, while Michael's gambling debts caught up when creditors realized he had no actual assets. The real estate agents reported the fraud attempt, creating permanent records that would follow Uncle Richard. My extended family faced community embarrassment when word spread about their failed house theft. The cousins who'd cheered my dispossession quietly removed themselves from family group chats rather than face shame. Sunday dinners became awkward with fewer attendees avoiding confrontation. I changed locks, installed security, and continued demanding trauma medicine work with Dr. Foster's mentorship. My house remained mine, mortgage payments current, savings growing without pressure to subsidize family irresponsibility. Uncle Richard's emergency family meetings ended permanently when no one wanted further legal exposure. Sometimes professional competence and legal preparation are the best defense against relatives who mistake family relationships for property rights.